Hey guys! So today I wanted to talk to you about a video that inspired me from Soul Pancake, and Soul Pancake is probably one of my favourite YouTube channels. I don't think I've watched all of their series, but one of my favourite series that has been ongoing has been their 0 to 100 series, and you can check that out, the playlist, up there in that corner. So let me just explain what this series is all about. So the 0 to 100 series is where they basically they pose a question to a ton of people between the ages of 0 to 100. I mean, not exactly, but basically people throughout that age range. And it's really cool because they ask really deep questions, and it's really cool to see what people say and how things are similar through all stages of life. And I just absolutely love watching them because they're really short, but it's really lovely to see what everyone comes up with, because they choose a lot of people from lots of different backgrounds and from all different walks of life, and it's just so wonderful. So one of my favourites recently was the question, what would you sacrifice? So I wanted to pose this question to you today, and I think it's really interesting to think about sacrifice in general, because sacrifice usually happens because we want change, or because we want to continue doing something that is hard to do, and therefore we have to cause change to happen in order to be able to enable it to happen. But that could also be maintaining something, because obviously as life changes, sometimes priorities have to change, but that means that to keep things going that you might have been able to do before requires a bit more effort and therefore sacrifice. But obviously there are different kinds of sacrifice. Like, would you sacrifice your time? Do you sacrifice some old things that you used to enjoy? So for me at the moment, I've started hardcore revision for my A-levels, so I've had to start watching less YouTube, because as I mentioned in my last video, YouTube is probably the prime reason why I used to not sleep early, and in this past week I've basically tried to change that, and that has meant that I haven't been able to watch as much YouTube, but it has meant that I've been able to wake up earlier because I've slept earlier, and therefore, you know, it's really interesting to see how well you can adjust to sacrifices and how much more you can bear. I guess my question to you is there a person or a cause that you would sacrifice for, and what would you sacrifice? Because I think it's really interesting, especially with relationships, because I was discussing with a friend about how close relationships can sometimes be the best thing, and sometimes they can be the worst thing, in the sense that sometimes they can be really draining and they don't necessarily feel like you're growing from them. So what would you sacrifice in order to keep the good friendships going, as well as perhaps family relations, for example? Because I think often, especially the thing that I'm thinking about with me, is the fact that in September I'm hopefully going off to university, and it's going to be really interesting to see how my family relations change, because I'm really close to my sister and my parents, and it'll be really interesting to see how we maintain the closeness of our relationships, because we don't have proximity to rely on anymore. I think some of the things that have been sacrificed in the video, especially, we're talking about things like sacrificing comfort in order to be able to actually do what you love. And I found that really interesting, because I would love to find out how many people actually pursue their dreams, and how many people are willing to put the effort in to sacrifice the comfort that they've been used to in order to go for what they want to do and what they enjoy. So, what have you sacrificed? And are there sacrifices you think you wouldn't be able to make, or things that you would like to be able to make but that you're finding hard? How many of us are able to put in the effort to sacrifice the things that we enjoy, or even sacrifice relationships that perhaps we've held on to for sentimentality reasons but aren't really helping us anymore? I hope this made sense. I'd love to hear what you think, and any examples that you have, because I really love to hear more motivational stories in a sense, and just to hear how you guys have overcome your struggles and have also perhaps even failed, because I think it's really nice to show that we're all quite human and we all fail sometimes, but we can also get past it, we can also achieve what we'd like to. So, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful time doing what you're doing, and I will see you next time. Bye guys.